Success can take many forms, but most importantly, it can be a positive and uplifting story. This is Success in Iowa. Today on Success in Iowa, we travel up to the northwest part of the state in Dickinson County, where Rainey White and Elix Alvarado, a married couple living in Milford, decided to start a food truck in the middle of winter. Let's check it out. Talk a little bit about the decision then and the conversations that went by between the two of you before you made the decision to go ahead and take this leap.
Well, Rainey, she works in food service here. She worked at a restaurant here in Milford, Iowa. And, when they went to just carry out only, it just seemed like the right thing to do. It's like, people can't go in and sit down anyway. People are, they're tired of being in their house. They're tired of being locked up. So the best thing about a food trailer is we don't have to worry about indoor seating and none of that stuff. Everything's to go. And it's also something we've been wanting to do a long time. My mom and dad did it, when I was growing up, and something she's always wanted to do is have a food trailer. And I've been doing construction 27 years, and I'm really trying to get out of that and get into this. We have a party bus as well. So we just thought, well, I'll just load the party bus up. You have a food trailer, and I'll bring about a dozen people over there, and we'll just, kill two birds with one stone.
So basically you had about 5 to 10 minutes of free time during the day and you thought you'd fill it up.
Yeah. Basically that's basically what it boils down to. Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's nonstop work around here.
Well, Alex, you and I have known each other. Well, we've known each other a long time ago. We've kind of lost contact for a while. Lives just takes us in different directions, but you and I grew up in the same tiny town in northwest Iowa called Plover. For anyone who wants to Google it, your computer will laugh at you when you do that. But your parents, I met your parents when I was very, very young, and some of the hardest working people that I've ever met. And so your background coming from an entrepreneurial side just kind of built right in.
Oh, absolutely. I know my father, he didn't have, he had like a third grade education, but he was an absolute a hustler. He loved to get stuff done. He owned 2 bars in Illinois before he moved to Plover, Iowa. I think we moved to Plover in 79 or 80, I think is when we moved to Plover. And he would do some stuff, wasn't doing some carpenter stuff. He's a construction guy as well, but he wasn't really making the money he wanted to make. Well, one day he decided, well, I'm going to start serving beer out of my garage. And so he turned our 2-car garage into a bar, and it just kind of grew from there. And they were in business there 17 years in Plover. So,
and I could see your folks' bar from where I grew up, and there was a crowd there most nights.
Oh yeah, we would triple the population of Plover on a Good Friday night.
That's not an exaggeration. It really would happen. So the name of your food trailer is Rainy Day Cafe. Obviously, Rainy. We can do the math here and figure out where that came from. But I would think that step number 1, you need to decide on a menu. So what went into that decision-making process? How did you come up with what it was you were going to serve?
So basically I worked at a lot of Mexican food restaurants in Texas. So I learned a lot of different techniques in cooking making tacos and stuff like that. So I just put that to use. And so basically we just make beef for the most part. Like we make chili, we make tacos, we do soft corn flour tortillas. So it's kind of like a multi-use, you can use beef to make chili, you can make soups, you can make tacos, you can make burgers. So basically we specialize in making beef products. And then we have some pickle chips. They're a little bit spicy. And then we have big, like half jalapeno poppers. They're like a half a jalapeno with cream cheese. And then another thing is I really love chili cheese fries. That's one of my favorite junk foods. And so I make all my seasonings homemade, and I make queso from scratch. And then the chili, you put the chili on the fries and the cheese, and it's so good. So I just love that. That's like one of my favorite junk foods is chili cheese fries. So that was like one of my number 1 things I wanted to do. And then we do nachos too.
So you have the portable facility, you have the menu. It doesn't work if you don't have customers. What did you do to go out and find them?
thing is I did some. I built a warehouse for a distillery in Spencer, Iowa. Yeah, they make their own whiskey, their own vodka. They have a tasting room there as well. Wow, we made pretty good friends with these folks, and so I was like, hey, I want to do a food trailer. They don't have a kitchen. They're like, well, why don't you just set it up here at our place, and you can just stay in this location for now or whatever. For like, we decided we made a deal with them to be exclusively there for 1 year, and it's actually great because we don't have to break the trailer down to set it back up. They do events. They have live music. They do trivia nights. They have a great following of people that come in, and plus they're right off the main highway that goes through Spencer. And on the north end of town, the only thing on the north end of town is A&W.
I remember going through Spencer. That would be my background is radio, and I did a lot of ball games up in that area. I used to, I was a program director and sports director up there at the stations in Spirit Lake for a while. So, as if I had a game in Spencer as I'm leaving town, I'd pull into that A&W. So if you guys had been there, that you would have been my stop. But how has things been going so far? It sounds like things are really launching quite well for you.
Oh, it's been incredible, honestly, because we did a real soft opening. We didn't advertise. We didn't have a Facebook page. When the first weekend that we opened, it was we just opened and just kind of see what would happen. And we still, we had a couple great days. And then the distillery, they do their own marketing. Well, they just include us in their marketing. So it helps us as far as financially. We're not having to, pay for these radio spot commercials. They have us, we're advertising the radio, we're advertising the paper, on the internet, and now we have our own Facebook page and whatnot. And now we're doing some advertising as well.
And our friends.
Yeah, and our friends. We've met a lot of people since we've been here. And it's just been great, honestly. That's the distillery. The folks at the distillery are amazing individuals.
And Facebook.
Well, that's where I saw you guys. That was on Facebook, and that's how I learned about you and what you're doing there. And I think that it's inspiring what you guys are doing, and up in that area. Spencer is a growing area up in Northwest Iowa, has been for a lot of years, and to be able to kind of jump in there and do that kind of thing. And plus, as you're both learning, I'm sure it's about building relationships. If you can solidify that, then the rest of it starts to click along. But I'm sure you also know that there's a lot more to running a business, especially in the food industry, than just knowing how to cook.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's actually, I'm 100% honest, it's actually way more work than I ever thought it was going to be, but it's rewarding, and it's something that we've both wanted to do. So the fact that it's a dream of both of ours to want to do that, because my eventual goal is to get a restaurant and a bar. There'll be an Alvarado Lounge 2.0 up here in Okoboji sooner or later. Hopefully the next 3 years. That
would be amazing to see the Alvarado Lounge come back. That was the name of your folks' place in Plover. It'd be fun to actually find a garage and rebuild it again.
Right? No kidding. Yeah, and I can't go anywhere around here without people being like, "Oh, I knew your dad. We used to go to your dad's place," and that's been, 30 years ago, and people still remember the Alvarado Lounge in Plover.
I was thinking about this earlier today, that I don't ever remember seeing your dad sitting down.
Oh, no.
I saw him a lot,
No.
Whether he was working on the bar, whether he was working in the backyard and doing things, or getting his own party bus. You talked about having a party bus, that his own party bus up and ready to go. All of these things, your dad was, he was one of the hardest working guys around.
Oh yeah, he definitely knew how to work. And she said the same thing about me. She said, "You don't ever sit down. You don't ever stop." It's just not in my DNA.
He's always got something to do. Always. I'm like, just sit down and rest. Sunday, come on.
All right. For anyone listening that hasn't been yet and wants to stop by at your location in Spencer, can you tell us how to get there?
Yeah, we are on the north end of Spencer. 2304 was that Highway 71 that goes through there? Highway 71, 2304. It's the name Century Farms Distillery. Yep, Century Farms Distillery is the name of the place that we're set up, and we'll be there for a year. And we're there 4 days a week, Wednesday through Saturday, 4 to 8 p.m. Except for on Saturdays, we're there from 12 to 2, then 4 to 8. But recently, we've been just 12 to 8 because we just don't slow down. Like we normally think there's going to be a lull after lunch, but they're just not. It just keeps going. So it's great, It's
good.
Well, and think about this, guys. You're doing this in the winter time. It's winter.
And that was the plan.
What's going to happen when the weather gets nice and you live in a tourist area and there's a lot of people. You're going to need another truck. You're going to need a second trailer, everything. It's if you're doing this now, it just seems that the sky's the limit with this.
And that's kind of the way we feel. And the reason why we started it in the winter, everybody's like, why are you going to start it in the winter? Well, because we got to learn the process. We got to get our rhythm down. I don't want to be inundated with, 500 people in a week or whatever, and we're not ready to handle it. Consistency is key. Your food consistency is important. Your service is important. And that's the stuff that we're trying to get mastered now with what we hope was a slower crowd, but it's actually been way better than I thought it was going to be. So.
Baptism by fire, as they say. But
that's exactly right.
Congratulations on all of your success so far. It's exciting to see this kind of thing happen, and especially up close to where you and I grew up as well, Alex, that we need more places and we need more folks like you. So thank you very much for everything, all the work that you're doing, and I'm looking forward to, you'll get that Alvarado Lounge opened up, I'm sure.
Oh, I have no doubt.